Carlos Rodriguez. And from Umbarger, Texas, I'm telling you, the former world's heavyweight champion and now Southwest heavyweight champion, Dory Funk Jr. And immediately the action starts. With me is Jose Lothario, the expert commentator for tonight's matches. Jose, what do you think?
Well, I think Dory Funk Jr., I made one comment before, he was one of the great world heavyweight champion, and still to me he's a champion because he's a fantastic wrestler. And you really have to really stay on top of the man because the man, he knows every move you can find in professional wrestling, he knows. And I guarantee you one thing, Dory's a very tough man.
That's true. He just literally picks up Carlos. Carlos is really outweighed tonight by Dory Funk Jr., former heavyweight champion. Carlos, one of the younger wrestlers. Funk picks him up again. Ooh, right over his shoulder.
Beautiful farmer scare right there.
Really. An arm drag to a takedown, which is the entire purpose of wrestling. You get them down on the mat. Now, up real quick, Carlos Rodriguez comes in. Now he gets him. Now turnaround on the part of Dory Funk Jr. He's got him. He's now another turnaround. Now other into a full Nelson on the part of Carlos Rodriguez from Cuba. Full Nelson on the Southwest heavyweight champion, Dory Funk Jr. Down to a leg drag, down he goes. Down to a split, an arm drop. Ooh. Now another split.
Oh, that's painful right there.
Takeover.
A lot of pain right there.
That really is. He steps on his leg, then he goes over.
Woo. Beautiful forearm.
He lets
legal
him with
too.
A forearm smash. That's right. Those are legal. Now reverse headlock. You have to watch out real careful on this. You notice David Manning keeping his eye in there because this could become a chokehold very easy. Oh, another forearm smash. You can hear those from over here. Oh, another one. Down to a flying mare, and down goes Carlos Rodriguez. Reverse headlock.
I do believe that Carlos Rodriguez is really in trouble right now because
I do too.
That Dory Funk Jr. is really on top of the man, And he's the type of man, I wrestled the man many times before, and he's always thinking because always come out with something new, and he's just a fantastic wrestler.
That's right. That was a good break by Carlos Rodriguez. Coming over with an arm drag, over the top, hip lock, and down he goes. But once again, Funk grabs him and he's into the ropes. David Manning asks him to break. He gives him another shot with a forearm. Hey, Carlos now comes in. Got a shot there a little bit low. Gives him another into the ropes. And a drop kick that takes him down. You notice then, 1, 2, off he goes. Hey, Carlos Rodriguez doing some beautiful moves. But you noticed in the drop kick there, when Carlos did it, the weight of Dory just pushed Carlos back too. Oh, a tackle, down he goes. Funk is down, now he's up, he's waiting for him. It's going to happen right into the face with the back of his arm. Down Carlos goes. Oh, he's got it. There he goes. Again, a reverse shinlock. A suplex. Down he goes. What a move on the part of Dory Funk Jr., the Southwest heavyweight champion. Although his belt is not up for grabs now. A step over toe hold.
That's it. That's it. I guarantee you that's it.
There's a submission hold, a step over toe hold. That's it. That's it.
Big Irish fist of his and pounds Bulldog Pletchus down to the canvas. McShane, a real junior heavyweight and a man who has established himself as world champion over the years in several respects, now finds that he has been separated by a man who had a reputation for being tough. That was Don Evans, who is the referee in this particular battle that took place in Dallas, and most certainly delighted Dallas fans back in the 1950s. McShane at this time was world's junior heavyweight champion, but campaigned not only in the junior heavyweight division, but in among the heavyweights who, like Bulldog Pletchus, who came from Omaha, Nebraska, and was started in wrestling by the famous Dusick brothers. Bulldog is the kind of a guy who learned the Dusick tricks well and has convinced McShane right now that he learned it well. But Don Evans, who now in the 1980s lives on a farm in upper New York State and probably has memories of the days that he wrestled here in Texas, because Anybody who has faced tough competition in the state of Texas always has a special niche of memory that they never let diminish. So the Bulldog, Pletchus, on the receiving end now as McShane winds up and pitches, and Bulldog catches. That was inevitable. That's one of the reasons why his face got to look the way it does, and that is that fellows like McShane found great pleasure in being able to pound it whenever it was possible. Now, McShane is a man who has left his indelible mark on wrestling, and you're looking on the outside of the ring. You see a strange apparition. That happens to be Iron Mike DiBiase, who managed the Bulldog, who did all of the Bulldog's talking, who had the Bulldog as a tag team partner. And in this particular match, the manager or the handler or whatever you want to call Iron Mike as in his relationship with Bulldog, because they were tag team partners also. One of the stipulations was that Iron Mike was to wear a straitjacket if indeed he was to be at ringside at all. So you can see that they had a pretty good idea of what Iron Mike was capable of doing. Iron Mike is a man who ended his wrestling career in Texas. He died in the ring in Amarillo when he wrestled a huge individual known as Man Mountain Mike, and who literally fell on Iron Mike and brought about his death in the ring. So the Bulldog being urged on by Iron Mike DiBiase, and I might also point out that Iron Mike's son, Ted DiBiase, is wrestling now in the 1980s and doing extremely well, too. So McShane, unaccustomed to having fans rooting for him, gets inspired by the noise of the crowd and inspired by the opportunity to know that he's just a handsome young fellow after all. McShane, as many of you know, is still involved in wrestling in Texas. He referees wrestling matches regularly in Houston. And there are fans who sometimes come up and say, did Danny McShane ever wrestle? Well, here's the answer. Danny McShane was once the king of the hill in the lightweight division, rather the light heavyweight division. He came up from the middleweight division into the light heavyweight division and then the junior heavyweight division, and held the world's title in each of them. And he, in some people's minds, he is the perennial tough guy because of his ability to give and to take. He is also the man who invented the idea of coming into the ring dressed like a peacock, and has long been copied because of his strutting antics in the ring. But few have been able to copy his tremendous ability to pound an opponent into senselessness. So, a little nostalgia on the best of Texas wrestling. And
of course, later coming up, depending on our time, we will have as much as we can of the World Heavyweight Championship match between the champion of the National Wrestling Alliance, Harley Race, and the challenger, Bruiser Brody. And a lot of people have been waiting for this one. Blair continuing to work on the left arm and wrist of Brian Adias. And they go into the ropes, and that should be a break. And they didn't quite break off the ropes. There's a shoulder tackle by Blair. Over the top, Adias up. Arm drag, and down goes Brian Blair into the arm bar by Brian Adias. So we have seen a number of good wrestling maneuvers. Of course, that was a body slam now by Adias. Down goes Blair. He's covered for the count of one, and that was all he's got, as Blair shaken a bit, but certainly still has enough reserve to get out of that. You're seeing a good mix now of the amateur style along with the professional. Of course, professional style includes things like the shoulder tackle off the ropes and things like that. And there's a hip toss by Brian Blair. And Blair decides to give Diaz his own body slam, and down goes Diaz. He's covered by Blair for the count of 1, 2, and out kicks Brian Diaz. Side headlock now by Diaz. Takes him down. Quick pin there by Blair as Diaz was almost caught. He got about a 2 count before he kicked back into the headlock.
Five minutes.
Very, very large crowd on hand at the Sportatorium tonight. A virtual sellout here. Fans anticipating the Bruiser Brody Harley race match, which will be coming up in just a little bit. Right now it is Diaz and Blair locked up along the ropes, off the ropes. Here comes Diaz over the top. He stops, gets Blair, picks him up in the body slam, and down he goes. And a good move by the youngster Brian Diaz. And Brian Blair is shaken up. That's 2 body slams he has taken. He has delivered 1 to Brian Diaz. And now they lock up. Down goes Mr. Diaz, and Brian Blair has the upper hand. David Manning, the referee, who is watching things closely here. I think for Manning, as I mentioned before, this is probably kind of a pleasure because he gets to watch 2 men do what he does very well, or at least one time did very well. David Manning knows most of this kind of action, and a clean break off the ropes. And isn't that nice to see for a change? Actually playing the game the way you're supposed to. And they lock up in a side headlock taken by Diaz now. A couple of good looking young athletes out there in the center of the ring as Diaz holds on with the headlock. Brian Blair trying to kick out of it. And they go into the ropes. Off the ropes comes Blair. He stops, or rather Diaz, he stops, but this time he's picked up and he's slammed down onto the canvas. And a big elbow smash now by Brian Blair as he tries to cover the youngster. 1, 2, and that's all he got. And Brian Diaz's back is hurting him now as Brian Blair goes to work. Of course, regardless of what kind of style they use, it gets rough out there. As you saw Brian Blair with the elbow smash. Both men have received a couple of body slams, and they want to win. Certainly, you know, this is not a game for gentlemen out there. This is a sport for some rugged competitors, and they want to win. They make more money, obviously, if they win the match, and that's what it's all about. That's why it is professional wrestling. Right now, it is Brian Diaz with some forearm smashes trying to break that hold. And he broke it there, and Brian Blair moving back as he is staggered a bit as things are getting a little bit rugged in the center of that ring. Another forearm smash, this time from the left hand of, or left arm rather, of Brian Diaz, but he is, now what is this now we got? Oh, down goes Blair. He is covered. 1, 2, and that's all he's got before he kicks out, and off goes Diaz. Big splash, and that is missed by Brian Diaz as Blair rolls out from under him. Well, there you go with the count of 3 as they locked up, and finally it was taken by Brian Blair.
The winner in 8 minutes, 47 seconds.
Just under 9 minutes. The winner was Brian Blair over Brian